This presentation is on the crime rate of New Mexico. My name is Jay Sandoval. So the current situation in New Mexico is that New Mexico has the second highest per capita crime rate in the United States, and since 2005 the violent crime rate has risen by 6.6%, while the rest of the nation has experienced a decline. So our crime rate is still going up while the rest of the nation is going down. New Mexico is also one of the poorest states, and there is a strong correlation to poverty and crime rates. New Mexico's crime rate is about 7.0%, while the national average is 2.8%, which is more than 2 times higher. New Mexico's gun death rate is also 53% higher than the national average. And these things, not only do they affect current residents, but tourism and the possibility of new homeowners coming into New Mexico, and also the state's economy. And the graph on the right is a graphic showing the crimes by type in New Mexico in 2014, so you can kind of see what kind of crimes are happening in New Mexico. So I propose 3 avenues for change. First, starting with law enforcement, legislation, and education. So for law enforcement, I think we need to hire more peace officers, about 1,000 more, which is double the current number in the crime hotspots such as Albuquerque. Also, we can work on increasing law enforcement's activity in the community, holding events such as a firefighter versus police exhibition match, picnics, fundraisers, anything we can do for the police officers and law enforcement to be more active in the community. Also, if we can focus on more poor and troubled neighborhoods and direct their efforts. Also, implement advanced training for peacekeepers. And studies shown by Florida State University show that a 1/4 increase in current national police force would reduce crime by more than 15%. So that's quite a big deal. So for legislation, we need to support public officials who are tough on crime, and also work on increasing the awareness of New Mexican residents of the issues of crime in New Mexico. Now there's something else that we could do that would be beneficial, would be to start an ad campaign seeking support from residents. And also we could take a look at adjusting prison sentences for repeat offenders, as the National Institute of Justice states that 4 out of 5 of released prisoners are rearrested. So something else is we could take a look at supporting rehabilitation in prisons. So that way, instead of focusing on punishment, we take a look at rehabilitation and getting these people back to being functional citizens. For education, we could take a look at expanding public education and focusing on increasing the success of college students and getting students to college. We could invest more into the educational system. Also focus on getting students to and graduating college. We could also hold mandatory seminars and have guest speakers at schools to talk about the issues of crime. And really we need to work on changing the culture of New Mexico by educating students about the realities of crime and the consequences that go along with it. Also, just a note, 69% of the prison population has not completed high school. So as you can see, there's a correlation between lack of education and crime. I am a concerned resident of Rio Rancho. I have witnessed criminal acts in my neighborhood, and I've thoroughly researched the crime rate and crime occurring in New Mexico, and also thought a lot about the techniques that can reduce that crime. So in the cost versus benefits, you can see that the benefits far outweigh the costs. The things we're getting out of this is just way more than what we're having to do for it. So what we're getting in the benefits is safer neighborhoods, less crime, tourism and new residents, boosted economy due to the increased safety of our state, reduced insurance payments, and I mean, who doesn't like that? If we have less crime, then insurance payments should go down. Also, a higher rate of college graduates per capita and a more educated population, which should help combat the poverty issues we have in our state. Also, this increases the state's value as a workforce and could attract economy boosting businesses to our state. So, as for the costs, increased taxes, which is, I know everybody probably doesn't like, but what we're getting here is more police, education enhancement, an ad campaign, and advanced training for those police, and that's what those increased taxes would pay for. Also, there's no way we could get this done unless it was a statewide initiative. The whole state has to come together and work together to approve this goal. It's going to have to be taxpayer funded and community supported at the lowest levels. And it's going to require cooperation between statewide and local governments, and also cooperation with the education officials statewide. So the budget for this proposal is the annual cost of about 1,000 more police officers is around $43 million. And also I propose an increased education budget from $6.1 billion to $7 billion. And a $2.5 million contribution for an ad campaign, which would serve to increase the awareness of residents and seek support from the community. So the way that we're going to get this money is through community and law enforcement fundraisers. I think that could be extremely beneficial and helping to pay for itself. It's also having our law enforcement be more active in the community. Another thing is we could increase taxes on alcohol and tobacco products, and possibly a gambling tax, increase the gambling tax. We could also plead for federal aid, and also increase income taxes and property taxes. And here's a little side note, is tourism resulted in about $5.5 billion in revenue last year. And by increasing the safety of New Mexico, I think this will attract more tourists to visit New Mexico, and perhaps even potential homeowners to immigrate into New Mexico. So the goal here is to reduce the crime and increase safety in New Mexico, which will produce safer neighborhoods, and that will be more attractive to tourists and potential homeowners. We'll also have better schools. We'll attract even more homeowners and tourists, and just to live up to the name, the Land of Enchantment. These are our references. Thank you very much.